got a little special stream, right? Little stream content your way right now. I'm here with Lily Neko. Hey, Lily Neko, could you say hi to my wonderful viewers?
Hi.
Anyways, Lily here, she is so kind to volunteer her time to have a little discussion with us. We're going to be talking about gender. We're going to be hitting the basics. We might go deep, maybe in a future stream. Stay tuned if you like that. You know, hit the buttons, hit the sub buttons, hit comment to me, tell me, hey, asshole, make more of this. Anyways, with that all out of the way, all of that out of the way, I want to bring it to Lily Neko. I want you to help explain to me what the heck is the deal with gender. I thought it was simple. Help me out.
Okay. So the way that I see it,
Okay.
gender is simply, now I'm not talking about like anything about like biology or anything, but at like the surface level, you're just seeing someone on the street, you know.
Okay, you walking, having a good time? Go ahead.
The way I see it is gender is simply a way that you feel yourself to be, you see yourself to be, and you express yourself that way, like the way that you dress, the way that you talk.
It's been referred to as an identity. Which type of identity do you think it would be classified as?
I would see it as simply like when you think about yourself and you're coming from this perspective.
You choose to dress a certain way. You choose to wear your hair a certain way. You choose to maybe even bathe a certain way.
Yeah. Like how,
Now let me ask you something, Lily, if you don't mind if I interrupt. I was thinking like, so we are humans, right? A social group, right? A social animal, right? You know, as you know, we're part of a larger group, a larger order of hominids, right? So we honestly are very much affected by the people around us, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Now, my question would be, okay, so just from, you know, your few decades of experience of life, I'm sure you've had plenty of social pressures to look a certain way, to act a certain way, and it has nothing to do with biology at the end of the day. It has more to do with what the people around you are just used to or comfortable with, right? What do you think?
Yeah. It's kind of like, you know, as soon as you do anything that kind of catches someone's expectations, like it goes beyond their expectations, they might see it as weird or out of the ordinary.
At the very least, yeah. Because if I remember correctly, if you want my chat gender, hello there, Eveni Lee. Yeah, we're gonna have a little chat about gender. I have a very special guest here, Lily Chan. Or no, I'm joking. Lily Chan, you are my friend. Anyways, Lily Neko, say hi to Lee in the chat. Lee, say hi to Lily. We're having a great discussion. If you want to add to this discussion, feel free to ask questions. Anyways, we are talking about the social pressures that are placed upon us right now in relations to gender. So give me a personal example without getting into personal details. What is an example of a social pressure you had to deal with? whether you grew, growing up as a child or recent years.
So, growing up, let's see. Um, so I grew up with my grandma,
Mm-hmm.
and
I kind of did too.
so I basically learned like the social norms or whatever.
From a generation, like 2 generations ago, right? Because a generation ago would be your parents, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
but
you skip the generation. Okay.
she did not raise me the way that she raised my mom. It was kind of like
Mm-hmm.
it's like she was trying to do for me
Mm-hmm.
what she failed to do for my mom.
Mm-hmm. Which is what?
When she was raising my mom, she would go out and do stuff and like
Why are there
not have as much of a.
Why are there particles in? Sorry. Continue.
She wouldn't have as much or put as much responsibility in herself. So, like, my grandma's friends would be the ones that would stay and, like, watch my mom, or, like, she would have random people coming over.
Mm-hmm. Always
and
a good time.
So,
always a good time.
When she was raising me, she wanted to, I guess she wanted to be more involved.
Yeah, as one does, parents who are invested in children or their children's children, right?
Yeah. So she would bring me to her work, and it was basically like a pizza place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Local.
And
I assume.
it wasn't too far a drive. Yeah.
Well, I mean local, not like Domino's or Pizza Hut. Right?
Oh, yeah. It was a local place.
Yeah. Okay. Always good to. By the way, guys, let me interrupt. Support local businesses. They're struggling. Anyways, continue. Actually, let me interrupt you because I actually really want you to get a little bit more specific. Okay. I want you to tell me a very specific and brief example. Like, would you like me to give you an example to get things started? Because you're okay. So, I'll give you an example. Okay, so I took tailoring in middle school. At the end of the year, right? They had a project where you had to make like a whole set, like a, what is it called for your bed? Like the blanket, the sheet, the pillow coverings, all of those, right? The whole set, right? Had to make that from scratch, right? And I was legitimately struggling, and I fell behind on my work, and I had to finish a good bit of it by staying up that night, right? It was the pillowcases that I was having trouble quilting. And can you guess what would happen the next day after I got graded? Go ahead.
Let's see.
Okay, so
I'm not sure.
So let me set you up. I turn in this bed sheet set to this teacher. I forgot her name. It doesn't matter at this point. She got fired later on. But anyways, I turn in this bed sheet set, right? Blanket, like I said, blanket, bed sheets, pillowcases, right? All from scratch, right? Designed to have a theme, right? And she gave me a fucking D+ because she thought my mom did the work for me.
What?
She cited that I am simply too ignorant to tailor because I was a boy. And when I told that to my mom, She raised so much hell that the teacher actually got fired. So that was my first example of a social norm that makes me feel uncomfortable when someone looks at me and they just see, oh, guy can't create. Let the woman do it. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's my example. You got anything similar to that where it's like someone just assumed you couldn't do the thing because of your appearance? Are you there? You good?
I'm struggling to.
It sounds
When
like
it comes to my past,
Uh-huh.
I've been. It's kind of foggy at the moment, actually.
Then let me put a. How about you put a pin on that for a future discussion? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something recent because I don't have a lot of your time, right? I don't want dead air of nothing being discussed. So let's talk about something recent. Okay, so what's the deal with the people in our country that want to make it illegal for the LGBT to exist? As someone who, for a while at least, has identified as cis, from my understanding, cis is someone who is comfortable with the gender that they were born with. And I have my moments, right, as I guess some people would, where they, I guess, explore boundaries. I'm not sure, you know. Like I explore my boundaries with my hair sometimes, right? I was thinking about mohawking it sometime, right?
Yeah.
My point is, that's like the least amount of modification you can do to yourself. Anyways, my point is, like, what's the deal? What is it? Fear? Where is it coming from?
So, it starts with a social misunderstanding because
About who?
about like the entire concept of like what it means to be transgender in the first place.
Yeah, no, I remember asking you earlier, and if you don't mind, I'll bring it up for the viewers to hear what I was thinking. I thought transgender was like the equivalent of the stage in between the caterpillar and the butterfly. You know, where it hardens and becomes like the, what's it called? I know there's a name. The stages of the butterfly, right? You know what I'm talking about?
So like I'll give an example.
So what I'm trying to say is it's the transitional period between two genders. It's not any one gender. I know countries like India recognize it as its own gender. And I know technically we human beings can just, honestly, maybe we could pull it back just one notch real quick. One notch.
Yeah.
Is gender its own gender, or is it just a process similar to puberty? Like, is there an end state that you're hoping to achieve?
There is an end state, and that end state is basically to be comfortable being the person that you simply want to be.
Okay.
Like when I was younger, my parents said that I needed to get a haircut because, you know, boys at that age were supposed to have shorter hair.
Despite the fact that you could find pictures of
I saw
hair.
many guys that had long hair, and I was just confused. I was like, this doesn't make sense. Why do I need to? Why am I required to have long hair or
Right.
short hair.
Fabio. Wait, Fabio? How tall is Fabio? How tall is he? He's 64 years old, but how tall is he, real quick? Keep going. Oh, okay. He's 6'3". Dude, I'm looking at a 6'3" man with long flowing hair that flows in the wind. Okay? I don't think anyone would walk to this guy and say, "Hey, are you transgender?"
Yeah.
That,
It's just a person.
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
He's a guy with long hair.
And then I think jewelry, like you can't wear jewelry, but honestly, would you go up to Michael Jordan, who wears jewelry, and tell him, like, you're not a real man because you're wearing earrings? No.
No.
Because if you know anything about basketball, you know Michael Jordan is an exceptional basketball player, a very talented basketball player, right? Like one of the GOATs, right?
Okay, so this is the thing.
So
people try to like categorize gender
as a
and
what?
I've heard kind of a binary or a spectrum of binary. Yeah.
So one side, could you elaborate on who you think is thinking that this is a binary and who you think it's a spectrum? So, you know, some of our viewers don't know anything about gender, so maybe we could help them out too.
So, usually, people will grow up and their parents will tell them, you know,
what to be.
There's
right?
a guy and there's a girl.
Yeah,
and
there's a man
and a dame. It makes sense because
there's a man
that's
and a
what
dame.
they grew up with.
Yeah, and if you've ever... Now, I never grew up with these stereotypes, like the whole, women need to be in kitchen and cook and do domestic labor. But, like...
It's varied where you grow up.
Would you say it's political? Would you say this gender discussion's basically political? It's not like a person... It's not a feeling, right? It's not like something you feel, you know? And it's not...
I would say...
It's not even logical to... Actually, no, it is. It's the opposite. It's not logical. It's not based on logistical facts, right? It's not like, oh, you change your gender, therefore you reduce your life expectancy down to like 2 years from now, right?
Yeah, like, there are people that smoke, and they love... Like, they enjoy smoking.
Woo! You know me. Zaza every day. Zaza every day.
But, like, we're not worrying about the 0.5% or 0.03% that smoking weed is going to kill you or
make you into an addict, because some people are known addicts. Naturally, of course. Like, there's a classic saying. Tell me if you've heard this before, real quick. It goes like this. Hey, just because you can't handle Jack Daniels doesn't mean I'm not allowed to enjoy it. That's the same thing with gender. What do you think?
So, like, let's take video games.
Okay,
I've been told, personally, that by playing video games, I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my living, breathing days. And I will have... it will give me zero value whatsoever.
Well, I mean, we could argue all day about what value is, right? But let's boil it down real quick to okay, it's a hobby at the end of the day, right? It's not your job to play video games, right?
Yeah.
Now, my question would be is, are you taking care of yourself personally with your responsibilities, like your bills, your physical and mental health, your shelter, the people around you? Are you still in touch with the people around you?
Yeah.
Then
in a month I'm gonna be like visiting my mom.
In my personal opinion, I would take anyone who makes a vague statement like playing video games equals waste time. Honestly, you can just tell them to shut the fuck up, but don't say it in that way. I would, but you know what I mean. You say whatever kind way of shut the fuck up you want. But
Well, what I would say is,
honestly,
if
there's a point. Let me say this real quick. There's a point in your life that you need to decide. Okay, should I just walk away from this discussion? Is it worth my time? Like, I feel like you need to figure out. Okay, because sometimes on Twitter I'll see someone and they won't even make an argument. They'll just talk shit like, "Oh, you're a trans lover because you posted memes." And it's like, yeah, and you're R worded, but I can't say that on Twitch or Twitter because I'd get banned. Wow, you can be like, we live in this weird world where someone can be transphobic online, but if you call their shit out, you get banned. Like, what the hell, right?
So here's the thing: if someone is going to like insult you or blame you for something, but they have no justification, like,
Yeah,
you
it's
ask
not
them
like,
why
oh,
they're saying this.
You're bad at video games, or you're bad at your job. You make less money. Ooh, ooh. We're not talking about those arguments.
But
right?
if they can't address directly what they're trying to tell you, like, if they can't tell you the reason,
like feelings, like, oh, I feel, or this is how I feel about how things should be, and you're not going based on any like data or statistics or proof of any kind.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, the whole grooming accusation. I think it should be rude, or not rude. Yeah, no, I think it should be incredibly rude for someone to accuse someone of being a groomer without proof.
So, if people aren't willing to listen,
yes,
then the point of discussion isn't there, because they aren't going to listen to you. Anything you say is literally not going to be addressed. They're just going to go to more blaming.
Well, I've said this before. You only have two options. You can either just shit talk them and embarrass them in front of a community, or you can just block them and continue to live your life. And trust me, when you block someone, I've blocked people before on Twitter, okay? Trust me, you don't even remember who they are the next day. Okay? So, blocking does help sometimes. I would want to say, personally, this whole gender fear-mongering, this is my guess, okay? Tell me what you think of this guess, okay? Hypothesis is an unproven theory, right? Hypothesis. Yeah. My hypothesis is that the LGBT is just a distraction by the GOP, because it isn't the LGBT that alone that they're against. They're also against young people voting. They're against the concept of socialism in any form, right? So they're against competition. They don't want capitalism to compete with other types of people. And if I could pull in a historical example of the GOP discriminating against would-be political rivals, right? People would never vote GOP, right? Okay, let me give you an example. Do you remember Richard Nixon, one of the U.S. presidents, right?
Yeah.
Well, he made marijuana illegal, and it turns out it was just to punish black people and white liberals who wouldn't vote Republican. So what does that have to do with weed being healthy or unhealthy for the body? Is that a medical argument? Is that medical? What I just told you, does that have anything to do with medicine?
No.
Or does that have more to do with a political party that sees rivals and wants to change the laws to punish said rivals?
So you see, if people don't understand something, and they're kind of in the middle ground of something, I
hate those people who are there should not be In my
If they
opinion,
have any association with any kind of group, then any fear mongering that they're given from that group will instinctively become part of their opinion.
yeah, because it's easier to scare someone than it is to encourage or educate them. Right?
Yeah.
Like I said, like I've been trying to explain to you, like there's only one party in the United States that will refuse to call you a she or use your chosen name. Right? There's only one party that will refuse to respect you as a human being. Now, I'm not telling you who to vote for, right? Lord knows I hate the Democrats, bunch of dinos. But like, I find myself getting a little bit more interested in talking about this stuff because I hate this idea of these far right people trying to set the message. And the message is you don't have the right to exist. You're mentally ill. If you ask me, do I believe you're mentally ill? Do I believe you're what is it called? A degenerate groomer who wants to kidnap my children whenever I have them eventually. I don't know. No. Okay. Wow. Newsflash, I just think you're a human being that happens to play video games.
I
Right?
think the issue is so people misunderstand things and then they're
Well,
given
actually,
certain messages.
can I ask
And
you something?
so,
When you say people, can you be more specific? Like
okay,
voters, young
the way
voters, old voters?
the way that humanity as like specific social groups, it doesn't matter like
Well,
this happens with the majority when they don't understand something.
well, if you're talking about masses, groups of masses, you cannot expect a high level of intelligence from 1,500 people in a group. You know, collectively, 1,500 people have almost no collective intelligence.
Okay, let's take so people like just human beings, like you could
Mm-hmm.
just take any one person. It doesn't matter because pretty much all human beings have a bias of some sort.
Which is fine. You know, you don't want to eat the one fruit that kills you because it's poison.
If someone doesn't understand something and they've been given these accusations against another type of group of people,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to believe that everyone within that group is like that, even if that person defends this false accusation. Because
So, like,
there are people of all groups that could be doing that could have these accusations that are true, but that doesn't make the entire group part of those accusations.
let me try to suss this out for a second. So, what you're telling me is there's a group of people, right? And one of those groups of people just happens to steal an apple, right? That's a weird example, but that's theft,
Yeah.
right? So when that one person commits theft, they all go to jail and they all get called apple thieves, right?
Yeah.
That's so. You see, like, guys, I hope you understand what's going on, guys. They basically want to blame an entire population for just that one person they saw they didn't like. Guys, what the heck? It's madness. Is it mental illness? Come on, let's be honest.
Like this
Is
happens in many groups.
Yeah, but do you really think it's mentally stable, or you're mentally is it neurotypical behavior to be attacking people for different lifestyle decisions?
I think it's more to do with cognitive dissonance and less to do with
Let me remind
any
myself
kind of
that word.
illness. It's part of the tribalism that groups tend to have.
Well, humans have tribalism. Your family's a tribe. We live in a country called America, which is a big tribe. Um, yeah.
Like, let's say someone that is of your group comes to you and they start complaining about something that someone did from another group. You're both, if you're both opposed to that and you don't like that group of people, you're both going to start like talking and complaining about those people, and you might even elevate that to become the majority of that group of people, even if it's untrue.
Yeah. So, is there any hope in debating, or should I what should I focus on doing in terms of solving these issues? Because like, I can't just go to a random. You can't just like reasonably you cannot go to a random adult and expect to change their entire worldview with just one combo, right?
I think it has to come down to, so like, the way this gets the way that it gets is because anecdotes are very powerful for people. When they hear anecdotes, it like, those are like the most convincing thing for the vast majority of people.
Because it's just a way, usually, to help them visualize a concept or walk them through a concept.
I think the best way would be to show them in like not a kind of like haha I got you kind of way, but just in a general curious way. You show them examples of the opposite of what they're claiming.
Arguing.
Yeah.
But like, if I put like the divorce rate of heterosexual couples, or the satisfaction rating of people who receive a hip surgery, right? It would kind of make transitioning seem popular and based. You know what I mean?
But not a lot of people are gonna see it and then change their mind immediately.
Yeah, but what do you think? Like, yeah, okay. Here's the argument. Oh yeah, listen, Lily, you can totally be, a champion athlete. All you gotta do is take years of your life, go through extreme chemical, gender transition with extremely expensive physical surgeries to augment your body so that you can just kick a bunch of girls' ass in high school. Oh wait, you're already like what, 25? So dumb, right? Oh my fucking god, right? I'm sorry. I just like I have never been like against like mass groups of people before, right? So it just, to me, I'm just trying to understand, where is this hate coming from? Have you ever talked to someone who is against this concept of gender that has given like a meaningful like point?
It's been all over the place.
So there's been like no instance where you're like, oh, maybe they're onto something. Because like from my experience, I guess if you want to give an argument at all, right? At the moment, depending on where you live, transitioning is not covered under healthcare, which means you have to pay the maximum cost, which means it's actually very expensive and cost prohibitive, which means the vast majority of people who want to transition probably never will. That's why the population.
It's only in certain states that it's actually possible.
Shoot, getting hormones in California is surprisingly difficult. You'd think it'd be easy because, by the way, I forgot to mention to you guys, I'm from California. So, I'm a communist and I voted for crime to be legal, of course. So, keep your wallets at home when you go out in California. Anyways, we were talking about... we were talking about... I'm really good at I'm so good. Guys, I'm so good. Alright, so we were touching on, would you like to go and touch on any questions you have for me. Maybe you want to probe me verbally with questions.
Um, so, so let's see. Huh.
Anything at
I'm
all.
not sure.
Listen, I'm not an open book, but I'll let you know if I don't know something.
I think, overall, so far, I haven't been too mentally prepared for this talk.
It's fine. Look, we can come back. We're just touching. We're not getting deep into too deep, right? We're staying in the shallows. We want our normie viewers to not feel uncomfortable, right? You normie viewers, I see you. You normies.
I think the most important thing is what, like, a message that's been, like, tossed around a lot. And it's like, it's a general saying, don't
Okay.
judge a book by its cover.
But that's I know what you're going to say. Oh yeah, you have to look at. Listen, a lot of people don't want to put the time it takes to take a gender studies course to understand what a they them are.
Well, hold
So
on.
you kind of
That's
have
not
to.
what I mean.
No, what I'm saying
What I
is
mean
you
is,
kind of have to help me explain to me how can we bridge that gap.
so, first, you just have to understand, like, so I'm transgender.
Publicly or privately?
Um, Mostly publicly.
Okay.
I think there's like a few people that don't know yet.
Well, you know what I mean. You understand what I mean, right? You probably change your identification. You probably go to your job as your chosen identification, right? You know what I mean? You go through your life as this. You know, it's not like Superman where he goes to work as Clark Kent, right? You literally are Superman all the time in that sense, right? Or you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Sorry, I didn't mean to call you man. Oh, don't cancel me. I didn't call you man. Ah! Don't hurt me. Anyways, yeah. So
But
you're
like
public.
I think
Rendering
like
fail, guys. Look at the rendering fail. Anyways, continue.
I'm a person. I
Mm-hmm.
like making art. I like making music.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's just kind of part of my personality. Like if you
Yeah.
ignore the gender part,
Which is
I'm just a person that has a lot of like creativity.
yeah, and you're into like technology,
Yeah.
which is fine. So yeah, it does get so tiring where you're just like, yeah, I get it. I'm this, but I really want to talk about my hobbies, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember watching this person named Dylan Mulvaney, and I really didn't want to know who this person was, but unfortunately, the haters get a lot of views.
Like let's say okay, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Has there been anything recently where someone like found something out about you that they found to be like repulsed by or they didn't like?
Okay, that's easy. I am not the same human being in the real world as I am online. I often socially mask, and because people associate social masking with, well, narcissism and what's that thing where you don't think highly of other people? I don't know what the term is, but you know what I mean?
Egotistical.
Like something like that. They think like there's an entire world where I am a different person, you know? But yeah, like I'm gonna have to type something on the Discord real quick. But yeah, no, So I've told you this before. I have this bad, nasty habit of acting like a completely different person. Now, I've never been. I don't know if I want to get too deep on my personal identifications, because I don't know if you notice. I don't say man or male about me a lot, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason, and we'll touch on that later. But essentially, yeah, I do double speak. I do talk like a completely separate person depending on the time of day you talk to me. Right?
Alright. So, like, give me a really good hobby that you like sharing, you have an interest that you like talking about.
Well, right now, I recently got back into Japanese media, specifically live action TV shows and movies. Tokusatsu. Tokusatsu is live action special effects. What's some examples? You guys, I'm sure you guys heard of the Power Rangers, right? Or Kamen Rider, or Ultraman, right? And I've told you about this recently. I've showed you that movie, right? It just, get this. When I watch Ultraman, I don't know if you've seen it, so I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say or if you understand. I get this sense of nostalgia, even though I didn't grow up watching them. Oh.
Yeah, I get that a lot with, like, when I look at kind of older media.
Mm-hmm. But you knew you never experienced it, right? But it came out. Yeah. Oh my God! Depending on the year you were 10, because I looked it up. If I was 10 years old, I'd be watching. Wait. Ultraman Tiga, guys. Tiga would be my hero if I was 10. Right, I'm telling you. Back when I was 10.
Alright, so I'll give you an example of, like, the way that I feel about this.
Okay.
Let's say you were talking with someone.
Oh,
you
guys.
were talking with someone, like, on the street, and you both found that you really like anime and you really like Japanese live action.
I just noticed something. Someone made a reverse trans flag in my home. In my sorry, not my home, but my public server. There's a reverse trans flag here. Yeah. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
So let's say you found someone on the street, and you found out they really like they also really like Japanese live actions from like that time period.
Yeah.
But then, like, you're about to have this, like, great conversation, but they start bringing up all these other issues,
like,
and you don't actually get
emotional political drama, like, oh yeah, they're trying to turn our kids gay by putting chemicals in the water, and atheists are destroying the country, and brown people bad. Yeah.
And it's like, you just want to talk about your interests, and
yeah, you're just trying to chill. I know what you're saying.
These are important things to talk about.
It's
but
happening.
Right now,
a lot of communities have this problem, right? Where you're just like, you enter a community, right? A gaming community, right? Or a TV show in this case, right? And you're like, wow, this is really neat, and you're new, and then in my case in Black Desert, I'm just sitting here listening to a bunch of sexist phobes brag that they can be as, bigoted as they want as long as they stay in party chat. And I'm just like, maybe I should stop being in guilds with people who talk like this. Right?
Yeah.
So maybe we need to... It's weird to say, because the obvious answer is, well, duh, the best way to solve bigotry in social groups is to bring more people in, right? But it's not just any group of people we're talking about. Your average normie has no patience to, hate these groups of people. I mean, obviously, we're living in a tough economy, right?
Yeah.
And you know
I'm gonna
the
be leaving soon.
yeah, you got what? How many minutes?
Maybe 10, 15.
Let's do a little wrap up. Little wrap up. Okay, guys. So I don't know how this will go views wise. I don't know. I hope it does well enough because I kind of want to explore deeper. I know we were hitting the shallows, right? We were hitting just low hanging for this whole time, right?
Yeah.
And I want to say, Lily, how do you feel right now after having a little convo?
I mean, I don't feel as nervous as when we first started talking
Yeah,
on the stream.
yeah, because you're exposed to a little back and forth, and you know I wasn't like, oh Lily, you're bad, stop being bad. Every time you try to say something, I'm just interrupting you like, no, I didn't do that. I hope I didn't. I hope I treated you fairly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So here's the deal. If you would like to come back, I would like to have you back. And any people in the chat, please, give me a sign. Give me some support. Tell me, maybe some topics to touch on later. I'm not sure what you guys think of this whole gender stuff. We could touch on it further, right? We could get a little bit more deeper, maybe high-minded, if you want. But yeah, we could do all of that. We could do all that. Maybe we could even do the mythical Just Girly Thing stream where I show off a bunch of girly artifacts I stole from the various ex-girlfriends in my life. That's right. Yeah, that's right. We're talking shoes. We're talking handbags. And even a sword. I don't know why she had a sword.
Sword?
Yeah, she had a sword. So yeah, I mean, guys, you want to see a legendary Just Girly Thing stream. I need you to tell me right now. You gotta tell me. You gotta contact me. You gotta manipulate me in the way that YouTube wants me to be manipulated, right? So get on it.
So if we're going based on like other videos that I've seen,
yeah,
what typically I would see is people would like start some kind of series, like a game series.
I could actually add this. Well, I wanted to do a regular podcast, but this isn't a regular episode. This is just a little interview discussion.
Yeah.
We'll eventually work to that. If we do it regularly enough, we meet up regularly enough, we hit record or go live, we could do that. But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. We could have like a certain game that we play that's like multiplayer, and as we're playing it, these topics will tend to crop up anyway. And so we could clip those.
Or we could play Minecraft, and we could both... Imagine if we both built a house together and created.
Yeah.
We both work on just one house. That'd be lovely. We'll have
that would be cool.
We'll have to create a plot for that in the public world. I'm showing off the public world, so if you want to see any previews, yeah, just feel free to skim through the stream VOD. But yeah, that'd be nice. And hit two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I've had if you want my opinions, right, we could wrap up this by getting back to me, and then we could do a little shameless plug or not. Here it goes. I felt nervous only in the sense that I could potentially offend you. The thing about the leftist space, right? They call it left-leaning spaces, right? Where, left-leaning people like to talk about, leftist values, right? Or whatever, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, I used to not be political. I used to be apolitical because I knew the Republicans were dog shit and evil. But the thing was, Democrats don't do anything. And leftist people, from my understanding, watching YouTubers and Twitch streamers who happen to be political in nature, right? From my understanding, you could tell me what you think of this, but I always get the sense that leftist people just want to rip each other apart. They don't seem to care that Republicans are literally trying to strip human rights away from people. Because they just
it's a lot of infighting.
Yeah, they're just more interested in dunking on each other and collecting that ad revenue along the way. And like, I would say I wouldn't care if they did that if we were winning, right? If we had the Senate and the House and the White House at the same time, right? Which is basically total power, vis-a-vis unfortunately the Democratic Party, which I don't know if you know this, they aren't really a good party, as it turns out. They're just not Republican. That's the only positive I could think of with the Democrats right now. So, I mean, if you ask me, okay, so we run into a situation next year, right, where I have to choose between potentially a random Republican and Joe Biden. Unfortunately, we're stuck. You see how we feel so cucked as a people, where we have to choose between one racist dinosaur and another racist dinosaur, you know? Or sorry, former racist dinosaur versus currently racist dinosaur. Like, you see how weird and awkward that feels? Like like so many people choose not to vote because it feels like their votes are like being burned in a fucking flaming trash can for no reason.
But then the very dedicated people that like are already like completely committed to a side of Democrat or Republican, they easily know what to vote for.
Well, yeah, because they're ironically, Republican voters are groomed into voting Republican. Democrats aren't. But now you could say, but Olive, that's just your feelings. I thought you were talking about arguments. It's like, no. I have proof. Okay? Democrats suck ass. We all can admit that. But you can't find a clip of a current sitting Democrat that's like, yeah, I want them to be illegal. I want them to not exist. Right? I want to force my... I was about to give one of those personal anecdotal stories that they give. No, I'm not going to do that. Fuck you. But yeah, basically, I just feel like it's like the least manly thing you could do in your life, where it's like, I don't like you because you're wearing blue shoes. Oh, I'm gonna go call my senator to make blue shoes illegal, and then I'm gonna call the cops on you. Like, that's the kind of argumentation I feel like that's all they have. They have nothing. Like, voter suppression.
Imagine
voter suppression is probably the only strategy that seems to work with the GOP right now.
Imagine if someone had a favorite color and someone else had a different favorite color.
Oh, by the way, what do you think of the whole gender-based colors? I think it's kind of silly.
The
whole men like red, women like pink.
Oh, that. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, because if you go back, if you look at old World War II media, you'll find out in like 5 minutes that women of the time liked blue and men still like red. What changed? You see what I'm saying?
I gotta get ready to go.
Okay, so is there anything you'd like to tell me? Like, tell us when can the next time you'd be available, Lily?
Let's see. It's Thursday.
Thursday what? Thursday my mom's home. No, I'm joking. Thursday 20th, July 20th. Okay, go ahead. Tell me. Oh shoot!